Let's bring in Aki Kamkolka, Head of Futures at Halifax Investment Services, joining us along with Geoffrey Garrett from the University of Sydney US Study Centre and Sri, of course, in Singapore. Aki, G20 on the agenda this week. Is it going to be a commodities driver?
It most likely will be. I mean, there's a lot of information coming out of China at the moment. Various pieces of different news. First of all, they're telling a major piece of news. Whether it actually happens or not is another question, but they're wanting state-owned enterprises to actually default on derivative contracts on US commercial bank sheets. It only accounts for about 980 billion of the 200+ trillion, but it's still significant if they do.
Because people are going to question whether they could in fact do business with China in future, because there's going to be a risk around that arrangement.
Not just that, but it could also mean a systemic meltdown of the derivatives market in terms of commodities. I mean, you don't go around defaulting on derivative contracts, and it's not something you should openly say. But they're saying it.
Okay, so key event risk. Sure, jump in.
Thanks, Karen. Aki, good to see you. Dollar just continues to be the overriding theme, doesn't it, for the commodity markets? If we continue to see confidence in the economic picture, we've got a welter of data coming out of the US and also the Fed, rates on hold, and if they tell us that the economy is still in recovery mode, dollar gets beaten down. Can oil make a break above 75? Could gold test the all-time highs that we saw in March 2008 of around 1,034?
Well, gold, definitely. I do see it being, at least by the end of this year, over the next few months, I think gold will be between 1150. That's my target. US dollar index is absolutely imperative in terms of commodities, just in general. They're all priced in US dollars, so if the US dollar does go lower, I'm a little bit concerned that we may see a bounce over the next couple of weeks. That's my only concern. I was actually speaking to someone on the weekend, and I completely disagree with them, but they think gold might sell down to about 750. Now, I disagree in the sense that I don't see any reason why the US dollar should rally. However, his argument was that ECB and European banks are printing more money than the US dollar. But if you look at treasury markets, they're buying into treasuries on a daily basis, billions of a time. How can you not tell me that the US dollar is only going to continue to get weaker or devalue or debase? So I do see gold higher.
Aki, oil fundamentally still looks very soft though, doesn't it? I mean, we've still got this sizable inventory overhang in the OECD. Demand for distillates and industrial fuels hasn't come back very strongly still. Are they the main factors that is really limiting this breakout above 75?
Yes, definitely. I think in terms of oil, I want to see it sell back down to the low 60s before getting long this market. However, I'd be extremely cautionary because we all know how oil can just spike out and catch everyone out. And that's something to be cautious about. I mean, keep your stops tight. Look to go short over the next few weeks. I wouldn't be short too long. And generally, I tell clients this all the time, never be short crude because it can get
Geoffrey, let's get you on this. What are you watching on commodity markets?
Well, I think we've talked about the US dollar, we've talked about Chinese demand. The one thing we haven't talked about thus far is political instability in the Middle East, and I don't think anyone should underestimate just how badly things are going in Iran at the moment and how concerned the Israelis and therefore the Americans are about that. So anything can happen in oil markets, and a lot of people think that there's a significant risk of a unilateral Israeli strike in Iran before Christmas. If that happened, obviously the markets would just go crazy.
Any political issue out of the Middle East is going to send crude.
Yeah, okay, and of course key talks are happening in New York right now, or in the next 24 hours indeed, between the Middle East and the US. Thanks for joining us, Aki Kamkolka from Halifax Investment Services. Up next we'll get final